A lot of our audience is real estate investors. This is the show for the law for real estate investors. So they're either dabbling or they're full-time in real estate. But business structuring and business structure is important to that equation, regardless of what industry you're in. For somebody who's just maybe coming into this, whether it's just coming into real estate investing or business generally, why don't you explain what is a business structure and why is it important to consider?
Yeah, absolutely. A business structure is its own separate entity. Depending on how it's set up or what it is, it's the way I always look at it is it's a separate thing from yourself. It's not you anymore. It's a separate entity that has its own life. You control it, or whoever else is the owners of it control it, but it's a separate thing. So, what are the advantages that gives you? Most importantly, it creates a liability barrier. That's the most important thing. And when I say this, I'm talking mainly about a corporation and LLC. There's other business entities out there like, a partnership, general partnerships, all those things. But the most common thing that you'll come across is an LLC, to some extent, a corporation, a C corporation usually. And we can get into what those are if necessary. But the main benefit that you get is it's a separate structure that has its own life. So it has its own liability there. And it creates that shield that you as an owner, if you are lucky enough or business savvy enough that you have some assets outside in the real world, you don't have to put those at risk. My home is no longer at risk. My bank account is no longer at risk because I have this business structure that has its own bank account and its own assets, that if the business structure ever gets in trouble, my empire collapses, it goes bankrupt, there's always that shield there. And the second most important thing that I want to bring up is when you have that LLC or corporation established, it gives you the legitimacy with the IRS, and it gives you a way to easily structure and record receipts, record your expenses. It just makes it easier for any CPA or any accountant to kind of keep your lives separated. And that's what you need to do in order to really get the advancement of these business structures, both from a financial gain, a tax gain, and a liability structure.